right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Ba'ath Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere citations, okay? So, I'm doing a recap from a video I did about the cycles of the moon and the Sabbath, which was over a year ago. You know, and it was just through the spirit that I went back to go and watch it. And I just wanted to go into more detail and clarify some things, because last video was kind of like a little, left a little vague and kind of open for more discussion. So I'm going to go through some things and thoroughly and verify and clarify everything to the best of my ability. So, all right, let me get at this. Okay, so we're going to start off with the book of Genesis. Okay, and right here, what you see on the screen, this is just an example I'm going to be using from September 2013 to October 2013, and just looking at the cycles of the moon. But let me get this real quick here. Okay, this is going to be in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. Actually, let me start at verse 4. It says, and the power saw, excuse me, first Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And the power said, let there be light, and there was light. And the power saw the light, that it was good, and the power divided the light from the light from the darkness. And the power called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So the evening time was the first day. So when it hits evening, that's the start of a new day. Verse 6, and the power said, let me drop down to verse 14, and it says, and the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Okay. Now, going to the book of Sirach, the 43rd chapter. It's Sirach 43 and 6. And it says, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Verse 7, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Verse 8, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. Okay, so what that's saying is that by the cycles of the moon is how you determine the days, the weeks, the months, and all that, by paying attention to the cycles of the moon. When there's a full moon, that means it's the middle of the month. But of course, due to Esau Edom's calendar, Esau Edom and how he changed things and all that he has done, which I'm going to get here in a minute. But due to Esau Edom and how he changed things, you got to really kind of have to discern, discern, and like I said, just got to pay attention to the signs of the moon. Now the new moon, which is no moon in the sky, that is likened unto a Sabbath. And I'm going to get the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 22. And it says, for as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me. Wait, hold on. 66 verse 22. Yep. Okay, so remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. Verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. Okay, so the new moon from one new moon to another, from one Sabbath to another. So the new moon is likened to a Sabbath, but now to know when the Sabbath is going to be, you have to count 6 days after the day of the new moon, after the day of the new moon. So, for example, here on the chart for September, the new moon falls on the 4th. So, when you start counting 6 days, you go from here, the 5th, the evening on the 5th, because the evening is the beginning of a new day. So from here you count 6 days. So from the day after the new moon, you start counting 6 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. But here, when it goes to the 7th day here, when it goes to the 7th day right here, and on the evening of this day, that's when the Sabbath begins. And the Sabbath goes from this day here on the 12th, from evening to the 13th on the evening. So from one evening to the next, that's the Sabbath. And then, the Sabbath, you have to count 6 days again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, like I said, a full moon represents the middle of the month. So from here, go here, go the next day on the evening of the 20th here. The evening from here to the evening here, that'll be the Sabbath. Okay? I hope that you can understand that. I hope it's not too confusing. But, like I said, Esau, Edom has, in fact, let me get the script. It's going to be the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And it says, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time of times and a dividing of time." Okay, so Esau, Edom has changed up the times, the laws, and everything. It's just to confuse the people from how to really observe time, and the months, and it's all it's all to throw you off. And you can look up on your own time that the names of the days of the week, Monday through Sunday, they are all named after pagan gods, and you can look that up for yourself. All right, so we're gonna get the book of Amos 8 and 4. And it says, "Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail." Verse 5 saying, "When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances of deceit." So on the Sabbath, you're not supposed to buy, sell, or trade. So that's why, that's why it says in that scripture, I'll read it again, verse 5. Saying, "When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit." So, as I said before, on the Sabbath day, you can't buy, sell, or trade. And it's a day of worship unto the Lord, and it's a day where you to pray, give worship, fast, study more, get more into the Spirit. Okay. It's not, this is it's supposed to be a holy a day where you give your time to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. Excuse me. Go to the book of Nehemiah, chapter 10, verse 33. It says, "For the showbread, and for the continual meat offering, and for the continual burnt offering of the Sabbaths, of the new moons, for the set feast, and for the holy things, and for the sin offerings, to make an atonement for Israel, and for all the work of the house of our power." Okay, like I said, how they how they connect the new moons with the Sabbath. So the new moon is likened unto the Sabbath, but it's not. It's not like how they connect the new moon to the Sabbath. Sorry, and like this is supposed to be a day of worship. Okay, but even if the Sabbath does fall on a Sunday, that doesn't mean it's part of that Sunday worship crap that they push here in these so-called Christianity communities or whatnot. Okay. So, all right, let me get Second Chronicles chapter 2, verse 4. And it says, "Behold, I build an house to the name of the Lord my power, to dedicate it to him, and to burn before him sweet incense, and for the continual showbread, and for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Sabbaths, and on the new moons, and on the solemn feast of the Lord our power. This is an ordinance forever to Israel." So this is something that's part of our commandments. This is something we have to follow forever. Okay, and also, what was I gonna say? Also, another thing too is that the high holy days, they are likened unto the Sabbath as well, because it's a solemn assembly and a solemn feast. This is something you take seriously, and it's part of our culture. Okay, to show that we are separate, that we are holy. Okay, there's going to be Ezekiel chapter 46. Verse 1, and it says, "Thus saith the Lord power, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened." Okay. We always pray to the east. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna get into that later. But yeah, I see how they're constantly connecting the Sabbath and the new moon. So the new moon, once again, is likened unto the Sabbath. And let me get one more script here. This is Ezekiel 45 and 17. Wait. So yeah, here we go. Ezekiel 45 and 17. "And it shall be the prince's part to give burnt offerings and meat offerings and drink offerings in the feast, and in the new moons, and in the Sabbaths, and all solemnities of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering, and the meat offering, and the burnt offering, and the peace offering, to make reconciliation for the house of Israel." Okay. So I hope that this was edifying. Like I said, the Sabbath, that's why you gotta, after every time a Sabbath ends, you gotta count the next evening, 6 days. So that way you know when the next Sabbath is gonna be, okay? And every time there's a new moon, like for example here on the October chart, there's a new moon on the 3rd, which is a Thursday. So you start from here. Okay, well, this is the day after the new moon, so you start from here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you go to the 7th day, and that's in the evening on the 7th day here. That will be the Sabbath. Okay, so from the 11th to the 12th evening will be the Sabbath, and then you have to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, 7th day on the 19th, on a Saturday, on that evening, that's when that Sabbath will start. Okay? I hope that this was edifying unto the body and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. I like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Baatha Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay? See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Ababa, Shalom.